Today, I was pretty lazy. I pretty much didn't do that much today. That's kind of a odd thing for me. But today was TLC, not the band, the wrestling event, Tables, Letters, and Chairs. I watched it. It was I liked a lot of the matches, except for the Nikki Bella versus Carmella match. That was crap, in all honesty. The tag team title match at the beginning of the show was eh. The main event was okay. The whole thing at the end I didn't like. Between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, I didn't like when the I forgot his name. The other guy come in with the neck brace. The guy that they keep making fun of because he doesn't really have much of a chin. I don't know. The ending of it I didn't like. But yeah, overall it was a good show, but kind of like honestly I kind of ignored most of it because I couldn't keep my interest in it. But also, today was me and my wife's anniversary. We have been married for 12 years today. And it's like, wow, it's been quite some time. I think it's kind of funny because in the past I've gotten my wife cards and stuff. Not cars, cards, like anniversary cards and stuff like that. One of them, there's these two birds sitting on a perch, and it said something like it said a few things, but said, "You may not be perfect, but when you're next to me," and you open it up, it says, "You're next to perfect." And it's just things like that. I always get her a funny card. But I didn't. This year we were kind of like, hey, let's not do all that because we're just. I mean, you've been together 12 years. It's kind of like, okay, a card doesn't really mean that much. Okay, I take it. Well, I say that, but that's kind of what I mean, but it's not what I mean at the same time. Just going out and get a card isn't really anything. You have to really, you need thought behind it. You need to, things like that. So with Adrian, it's really hard. Going out and spending, if I get a card, well, it's $5. She gets a card, that's $10 right there. Well, we can buy Adrian something for $10, and I think that's kind of what we are. We'd rather get something for him, and so that he can play with instead of just buying a card. For some reason, I was about to drop my phone. But yeah, but basically we pretty much sat around the house, didn't really do much. We played with Adrian a lot today. Played with the dogs. Yesterday we got these things. I ordered some stuff for the dogs. They're called bully sticks. They stink to high heaven. Oh God, they honestly do smell like rotting meat. But the dogs freaking love these things. And it's like before you give it to them and they'd chew on it and everything. But now with Adrian, Chloe likes to stay around us. Thor, he'll go off and chew on it and everything so that you can't. When it gets really small, I take it from because I don't want him to choke on it. Especially Thor, because he when he gets small, he tries to put it in his mouth and wants to swallow it, and he would choke. So he likes to go and hide while he eats it, and I have to keep checking on him every few minutes to make sure he doesn't try to swallow it. Chloe, though, she eats it kind of like corn on the cob, like she'll pull little pieces off of it. I mean, she chews on it, gets it kind of soggy, and then pulls the soggy pieces off. It's the weirdest things how she eats it. But these things, they stink to high heaven. And once they get wet, you touch it, your hands smell like it and everything. So, but where Chloe likes to stare on us, Adrian's like, ooh, what does she have? And he walks over and wants to pick it up, and so we have to keep him away from it. So that's kind of a chore to do. But eventually he got the idea, oh, don't leave that alone. And Chloe got the idea, don't let him grab it. But it was... So I think it's kind of funny. A lot of people I know, they're like, oh man, I got the days off. I need to go do this and this. I need to go here. And it's like they want to go out and do things. To me, a perfect weekend, I have a few perfect weeks. This is one of my perfect weekends. Is a weekend I can sit at home. I don't have to worry about going anywhere. I don't have to worry about anything. I can just sit at home and do whatever I want to do. Now, finding out what I want to do is the hard part, because it's like, oh, do I watch a movie? Do I play a game? Do I do this or this or this? I mean, you got so many choices now. I mean, that's kind of, I think that's on it. I'm jumping around topics so much now. But I do think that's kind of an issue with things like Netflix and Amazon, like Amazon Prime Video and stuff like that, is you have so many choices. It's kind of like, okay, what do I want? I mean, like me, I got all these DVDs. It's like, okay, what do I want to watch? Do I want to play a board game? Okay, which board game do you want to play? I mean, it's crazy how there's just so much now so much entertainment we have access to today. I remember growing up, I had TV, and generally I would rent video games a lot. So it's whatever game I'd go to the store. The store had, I don't know, maybe 20 games. I'd look to what they had. I'd rent one for the weekend. I'd bring it home. That's what I played. Now it's like, all right, I've got probably thousands of games now. I've got over 300 games in my Steam account. I've not played all the games in my Steam account. So it's like, okay, what do I... sometimes I still go, man, I'm bored. I just nothing to do. Well, there's a lot of stuff to do. I got a lot of books I haven't read, got a lot of games I haven't played, got a lot of movies I haven't seen, but I'm like, there's nothing to do. It's like, I got these Vampire Hunter D novel books sitting back here. I haven't read all these yet. And like right now I'm kind of in mode of I'm wanting to like reread and rewatch things I've seen like a bunch of times or read a bunch of times. It's weird. Like generally pretty much every year I reread Dune. Well, actually I reread Dune probably 2 or 3 times a year. And the Harry Potter books. I do reread those about once a year. Because I'm a real big fan of Harry Potter. Well, like I said, I don't read the last probably 2 books. The first, let's see, is it up to Goblet of Fire? And the next one, maybe? I can't remember. But it's like, I know I like Sorcerer's Stone. Let's see. Then there's the Serpent. Is that what it's called? Oh, God, I know there's Prisoner of Azkaban. There's like the Goblet of Fire and Half-Blood Prince. I think the Half-Blood Prince is where I generally stop. What is the name of the one where the girl gets pulled into Slytherin's like pit thing? It's late. My brain isn't working. I mean, I used to. I know all in order and everything. Now I'm kind of like, Like I recently, me and my wife watched all of them, and she liked them. The movies, it's kind of obvious I say I watched them. But I'm trying to get her to read the books. But she has a lot of other books she's reading, and she rents all kinds of stuff from the library. My problem is I read so slow. Actually, I think I can talk faster than I can read it. And the thing is, I didn't read a lot growing up, so I don't have a really fast reading ability. I read really slow. That's one of the difficulties I had in college when I had a literature class. They're like, okay, you need to read this book by next week. And I'm looking at this book, and I'm like, what? I remember we had to read Dante's Inferno in the literature class. That was the big book for the entire semester. And I was like, yes, I've already read this book. And Divine Comedy, not just Inferno, but it was the entire Divine Comedy. And I remember like after the first week, and she was like, okay, has anybody started on the book? Nobody raised their hand except me. And then she's like, okay. She's like, how far along you? And I was like, I've already read it. She's like, what? And I was like, oh, I actually read it last summer. She's like, you read Divine Comedy on your own? And it was just like the weirdest thing to her. And I was like, yeah. And it's a hard read. Don't get me wrong. It's a very hard, it's to get through. Because the one I have, if I can, where is my copy? It's right there. I think, I can't remember, because I've had 2 or 3 copies. Like one copy I had little side notes, told you what things were. But I got that one after I had read it originally, and that was just straight the book. And some parts are hard to get through, because it's the way it's written. But anyways, back to my original thing. Oh gosh. Yeah, but with Harry Potter books, I'm trying to get my wife to read them. But she seems to, I think she would like them, because she's kind of, right now she's kind of stuck in one genre, and I'm trying to get her out of it. Like, she's kind of broke it a little bit, because she was like, she read the Twilight books, she liked those, and that kind of got her into a little bit of more things. Like, and I was like, try this, and see, and no, actually, I didn't say try it. She got, oh God, this was years ago. I think only the first or second book was out. Maybe, no, I take it back. They were all out except the last book. And she got sick, and she was actually home for like a week. And she was like, she's wanting to read a book, and she wanted to try something completely different than she's ever read, which that was. And so I went, and she asked me to go get it for her. I went to Barnes & Noble, got the first one. She tore through the book. And literally, she's like, the next day, she's like, go buy the rest for me. And I bought all the other ones for her, and she really liked them. I've actually read them. She actually asked me, she goes, will you read them? Because I'd like to be able to talk to somebody about them. Because this is when she was still sick. And she didn't, so she wanted, like, so when I came home, she could talk to me about them. So I listened to the audiobook. And honestly, I really can't get into books like that, mainly because it's from the girl's perspective. It means, I think women are probably the same way in books that are from the guy's perspective. It's like when like she's remote, like it's just, it wasn't like I like the parts where about this from Jacob's point of view. That was pretty cool. But she's like, that's my least favorite part. And I was like, well, that's my favorite part of the books. But anyways, yeah. I'm trying to get her to read other things. So now that she's read those, I got her to watch the TV show Highlander. She really liked it. We actually met, oh gosh, Adrian Paul, the actor in Highlander. My brain went completely blank. I was thinking Alex, but no, Adrian Paul. So we actually went to Comic-Con one year, met him, got a picture signed and everything. His signing, he was actually donating everything to charity. Because I'm not, like, me and my wife, we're not going to pay him, he's just a movie star. And then when he was there, it showed that everything was going to a charity for, I think, his head of his fan club. And so we actually said, okay, cool. And we talked to him, he goes, yeah. And he asked how long. I was like, I've been a fan of Highlander ever since I was like in high school. And maybe even before that, maybe 8th grade. Okay, I remember because I was a fan of the movies, and then the TV show came out, and I loved it. And because I remember on TV, it would be Highlander, and then Babylon 5 would come on, and it was great. But I was like, yeah, but I told him, I was like, yeah, my wife, she's just now become a fan. And he was like, oh, wow, a new fan. And he's like, how far along have you got? Because I could tell he didn't want to say anything about certain, maybe a character dies, maybe they don't, but he didn't want to say anything about that. And he's like, oh, I'm about halfway through season 1 at the time. He's like, oh yeah, it's really good, but it kind of sucks when they kill me off in season 3. and my wife, she's kind of like, what? And he started laughing, but he seemed like a really nice guy. He was really friendly. And the people before us, he had a replica of the sword that Duncan MacLeod used in the TV show. And he actually got on the ground and had it look, because you got a picture with him also, and it looked like Duncan MacLeod was going to cut off your head. So it was great for that. I was like, man, I wish I had brought a sword so I could do that. But yeah, that was really cool meeting him. I've got my wife to watch a few other things. Like she watched some of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's watched a little, like she hasn't gone into Angel yet because we haven't got that far into Buffy to where Angel split off into his own TV show. Let's see. She likes Spike. I remember like there's one episode where Spike makes the line, "Yeah, I'm love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it," and that she loved that. And we actually went to at Comic-Con because the guy that plays Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he was there, and we went to that. She didn't realize he wasn't British. She didn't realize that was a fake accent. And if you didn't know that, listen to him now when he doesn't talk in the fake accent. She's like, holy cow, I had no idea. So yeah, I've gotten her to branch out a little bit. She's still not really she doesn't really watch anime. She kind of watches some horror movies, but not really. But so yeah, it's pretty good that I'm getting her to branch out a little bit. And now that I'm trying to get her to read Ender's Game, but she's not, I think that's a little bit too sci-fi right now. And I really wanted to read Dune, because Dune's my favorite book of all time. I love that book. And she's like, well, she wants to be a little bit of romance in the books. And I'm like, there is romance in it. There's a love story in it. There's like children and all this other stuff. I mean, like the third book's called Children of Dune. So yeah, and so she eventually might read it, but that may be a ways off. I hope she does. But I think I've talked way too much. I think this is probably a long vlog. But yeah, today is very interesting. Hope you guys had a good one. See you tomorrow.